I'm your host, BrightLearn, and today we have a truly mind-bending conversation lined up for you. We're going to explore a perspective on history that might just blow your mind. So, buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Recently, I had the chance to sit down with Christopher Bjerknes, a highly controversial author whose work has sparked intense debate and forced many to reconsider their understanding of history, particularly regarding figures like Adolf Hitler, Zionism, and the events of the World Wars. Now I want to be clear. I'm not asking you to accept everything he says at face value. Instead, I invite you to keep an open mind and join me in exploring the fascinating and, at times, shocking ideas he presents. Christopher Bjerknes is no stranger to stirring the pot. His books and videos have made waves, challenging the official narratives we've been taught about history. Our conversation began with a video based on one of his books, which suggested that Hitler was, in some ways, a pawn controlled by Zionists to achieve their goals. Yes, you heard that right. According to Christopher, Hitler's actions were not just driven by his own ideology, but were part of a larger, more complex plan. So, what exactly does Christopher mean by this? Well, he argues that Hitler was working for both the communists, under Stalin, and the Zionist cause. He points to Hitler's early involvement with the Bavarian Soviet Republic, a Marxist communist government, as evidence of his alignment with communist interests. Christopher even mentions that Hitler was a liaison for this government and a propagandist, suggesting a deeper connection than most historians acknowledge. But that's not all. Christopher claims that Hitler's rise was orchestrated by figures like Captain Karl Mayr and General Erich Ludendorff, who saw him as a tool to mislead the German people. The goal? To weaken Germany and pave the way for Stalin's expansion and the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. According to Christopher, this plan was laid out in detail in an article by Karl Mayr titled "I Was Hitler's Boss," which is available on the Marcuse University website. As we delved deeper, Christopher brought up the transfer agreement, a pact that, he claims, allowed wealthy Jews to emigrate from Germany to Palestine while funding the Third Reich. He argues that this agreement, which was in place from 1933 to 1939, was a crucial part of Hitler's strategy to finance his regime. This is a bold claim, and it raises many questions about the relationship between Zionism and the Nazi regime. Christopher cites Edwin Black's book, The Transfer Agreement, as a credible source for this information. He emphasizes that this is not just his opinion, but a well-documented historical fact. According to him, the agreement allowed Hitler to continue his policies while simultaneously facilitating the emigration of Jews to Palestine, ultimately laying the groundwork for the State of Israel. But why would Hitler, who was supposedly working for Zionist interests, orchestrate the Holocaust? Christopher's answer is layered and complex. He suggests that the Holocaust served multiple purposes. It was a means to make the world hate Germany, to justify the destruction of German society, and to create a sense of urgency for the establishment of a Jewish state. He also mentions the idea that the Holocaust was used to scare Jewish people into migrating to Palestine as a form of self-defense against future persecution. As our conversation progressed, we explored the parallels between the events Christopher described and what is happening in Germany today. He believes that modern-day Germany is being weakened from within, much like in the late 1930s. He points to Angela Merkel's policies on immigration and the influence of Marxist ideology from East Germany as factors contributing to Germany's current struggles. We also discussed the role of the United States in this global chess game. Christopher argues that the U.S. government has been subverted by Zionist interests, particularly through the influence of neoconservatives. He believes that figures like Netanyahu have been instrumental in shaping U.S. foreign policy, often to the detriment of American interests. One of the most alarming aspects of our discussion was the role of Christian Zionism. Christopher highlighted the dangerous belief among some Christians that supporting Israel, even in its most extreme policies, is a divine mandate. He mentioned the concept of the rapture as a justification for inaction, and the belief that Christians will be spared from the consequences of the conflicts they support. As we wrapped up our conversation, Christopher emphasized the importance of vigilance and organization in opposing the forces that threaten to plunge the world into chaos. He urged listeners to educate themselves and to question the narratives that are often taken for granted. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey. I hope this conversation has sparked your curiosity and encouraged you to explore these ideas further. Remember, questioning is the first step toward understanding. If you want to dive deeper into Christopher's work, check out his books at cjbbooks.com, and don't forget to share this episode with others who might find it as fascinating as we do. Thank you for tuning in to BrightLearn. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and stay curious. I'm your host, BrightLearn, and I'll see you in the next episode.
This has been a BrightLearn.ai summary of an interview between Christopher Bjerknes and Mike Adams on May 23, 2024. The full interview is available at brighteon.com, where you can also find podcasts and special reports by Mike Adams and other creators. Visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage of this interview and breaking news on critical stories that will keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.